Hi, I'm Kennedy from the Patricios.com. My question is for Walt. How do you find the balance of keeping Trolls films light enough for the kids to enjoy, but deep enough for the adults to love too?
Oh, that's a great question. And it's one of my favorite things about making movies at DreamWorks, where I've made movies for 20 years. The whole goal is to make movies for everyone or make movies for humans, we say. And it's such a fun, creative challenge where we can get the kids to have a good time, but then also the parents. And we really talk about it every day. And, I think the challenge of making both kids and parents laugh, it's great when you hear them laugh together. And they could be laughing at the same joke, but for two different reasons. That's my favorite.
Yeah, and when we're working on these movies, we consider ourselves big kids, just in grown-up people's bodies or whatever. So we're always trying to make each other laugh and make our crew laugh. And we know if we're finding joy in it and we're seeing other people laugh at what we're doing, then hopefully we're kind of doing it all. And I'm glad to know that it's coming off that way.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Of
you.
course.
Hi, I'm Carter with Patricios.com. My question is for Tim. Who had the idea to put Branch in a boy band? Is it because Justin was in NSYNC? When did you first know this movie was going to be about Branch and where he came from?
That's a great question. So yeah, actually, the idea started circulating back in Trolls One, uh, right while you and Gina kind of were. Gina Shea, our producer, had this idea of like at some point we want to dig into Branch's past and understand where he came from, and she had this idea that he had a group of brothers and they were all in a band together. So that was a while ago, and then I think as we were finishing up on Trolls World Tour. Walt and Gina started talking about that again and saying maybe this next movie should be that story about Branch and this band. And once we started going down that path, it became pretty clear that the band should basically be a boy band. And thankfully, Justin was fully on board for that take, and even a lot of the jokes in there about boy bands came from Justin actually as he worked on the movie with us. So
Yeah. We celebrated boy bands, but we also got to poke fun at them, I think, in a fun, healthy way. So it was
yeah.
both. Yeah, if Justin didn't buy off on the boy band thing, at first we the idea was it's a family band. Because there's a great history in music of family bands, from the Jacksons to the Bee Gees to Billie Eilish and Phineas. It's like family bands are a big thing, the Carpenters.
Mhm.
Uh, but I think this boy band angle just really made the movie that much better.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Okay.
So my question is for Walt. Do you have a favorite boy band besides NSYNC?
That's a good question. Sometimes I'll say the Beatles.
Mhm.
Since I'm older, you could call the Beatles a boy band. I mean, the Bee Gees, you could call them a boy band. Justin and I are both big fans of the Bee Gees. But because I'm a little older, I didn't grow up as much in as with NSYNC as Tim did, right, Tim?
That's right. Yeah, I was in high school when the first big, the NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys and the Boys to Men were all having their big sort of their first big wave, and so it's fun now to get to go back and revisit some of that and to see some of them coming back for reunions and to see NSYNC back together was really cool. I mean, I was a big fan of Boys to Men, and a lot of the music they make is just so smooth and soulful, really beautiful.
But NSYNC is our favorite band. There.
Of course.
Okay, Carter. When did you first when you first heard about making Trolls movies, did you ever assume that they would be this popular?
Great question. I think it's kind of been a pleasant surprise to all of us. Like I knew it was going to be fun, but when I came on to the first Trolls movie as a story artist, I only knew about the toys, and I barely saw anything that Walt and at the time Mike Mitchell was the director, and Gina Shea. They were kind of developing this world that was so far beyond anything that I was expecting. And so now that I've been a part of it, it's like, oh, um, so much of why it is what it is because of Walt and Gina and Mike Mitchell. It just created this playground to play in that has just been so fun and surprising. And I think that's to me why audiences have latched onto it so much.
And the audience is important to us. We talk about the audience a lot. We make the movies. I mean, for ourselves, we entertain ourselves, but we make them for the audience. So I think that's why I think the audience appreciates the movies as much as they do. Yeah.
My question is for Walt. Is there another Trolls movie already in the works? What can you tell us? What are your thoughts on a Branch and Poppy wedding and bringing all the characters back from the past movies?
Oh wow, that's the hard-hitting questions. We have definitely talked about where Poppy and Branch's relationship could go. You know, they're just first getting together. We don't rush them. So we'll just have to see how that relationship grows. And we've got a lot of different ideas of where the movies could go, what different worlds and new characters. So when the time comes, if the world wants it, we'll be ready to sit down and talk about those ideas. But who knows? Anything could happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carter?
Carter.
Well, my question is, what was your favorite scene in Trolls Band Together?
Oh, that's a good question. For me personally, I think it was the big chase in Mount Ray just at the end of the movie, just because that feels very different from a lot of things we've done in Trolls. We don't usually do big action scenes, and to be able to kind of combine our Trolls sensibilities, the comedic, the weird, the surreal, with music and action all together into this big giant chase, that for me was my favorite scene to work on, and also to see it come to fruition. How about you, Walt?
Mine too. I mean, I think both of us, just because it was so unique. When we first decided, let's do like a Fast and the Furious action scene. Like, let's try one of those, but it'll also be a musical, and it'll be like 90s boy band songs, and the theme to the Fame, the movie. It was like, let's blend all this stuff. It's like a roller coaster ride, but a concert. So yeah, I think that's still my favorite. I can't believe just the incredible artists who work here that really pulled that one off.
I
Okay,
would say,
I have a question. From the moment you like start to like, like, okay, we're gonna do Trolls Band together, how long does it take the process to put the entire movie together?
Well, I'd say besides kind of circling around ideas 10
Yeah.
years ago, if with Gina and I were the first ones on, and that was 4 years ago. So it takes 4 years. We spend a year kind of trying to figure out what the story is, but of course it'll change. And then
Yeah.
it's 3 years of production. Tim, you came on,
I came on like July of 2020,
yeah,
and I
3 years.
also working on the last holiday special, Holiday in Harmony at the
Yeah.
time. So I
Yeah.
was
Once, yeah.
finishing that up, and then I sort of was doing a little bit of that and a little bit of this. So yeah, 3 years for me, but Walt and
Because the World Tour one came out like right around 2020, right? During the
Yeah.
pandemic. Because
Yeah.
it went straight to, yes, because I remember we rented it. So, I mean, as that one's coming out, you guys are already like
Yeah.
thinking and doing this next one.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty
Wow.
much. I
Okay.
know. It's crazy. We're very grateful. I mean, we're so grateful.
Oh,
I remember the first pass at the screenplay for Trolls World Tour came out the day Trolls 1 went to the theater. So it was like,
oh,
okay, the movie is like literally it's Friday, the movie is starting, and the writers who we were working with at the time handed me a first draft of Trolls World Tour. So it's like
yeah.
that is so
Fun
cool.
fact.
You must already have thoughts for this next one.
we do, but we'll see.
Oh my gosh.
Fun fact, Walt hasn't slept in 32 years.
Feels like it, guys.
It'll happen eventually.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I mean, we love the movies. Kennedy's first movie in the theater was seeing the first Trolls movie. So
I love that.
I know. So we're huge fans. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. You
for
guys are
making
great.
movies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, thank
Nice
you.
to meet
Great
you.
questions, guys.